Okay, so here we have the Eachine Novice 3, which I have managed to destroy the circuit board on the bottom, which I believe is the flight controller, by pretty much ruining the solder on there, on the power lead, on the black lead, which in turn broke and got solder into the USB port because I am an idiot. So what I've decided to do is take the thing to bits, either try and get the bottom circuit board repaired or buy a new one, which is about £40 off Banggood with a 7-week delay for shipping. So I'm going to carefully, if I do careful, which is not often the case, carefully going to try and cut off the aerials without causing lasting damage, because I really am probably the most clumsy person in the world. Alright, so no, I really am. If I can break something, then I typically will. Just gotta be so bloody careful. So that's that one that's undone. There, get it off. And the second one that's holding it is naturally going to be a lot tighter. They're not the easiest thing in the world to actually do while I'm recording as well. So I'm going to try my best so that in case you need to do this as well, you'll know what to do. So that's the aerial off, and that can go there to one side. Then get rid. And I've literally only just put these things on yesterday as well, so I'm really bloody annoyed at what I've done. It's my fault. Okay, so that is the antennas out the way on there and there. Get rid of all this crap out the way. Apologies at this camera if you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm right-handed. Right. Now what I intend to do is I've printed out the sheet on the internet for this particular setup for the Novice 3, and as I take the screws out, I'm going to put them in little boxes and sellotape them down, because that way I know where they're going to go. So, and then I'll just write what they are. So we've got, to start with, I'm going to start and take off the top plate. So, put it there for the time being. 1, 2, now what I might do is speed this up for the video. 4. Okay. So to start with then, let's get those little 4 screws onto there, as you can see, like that. Piece of tape, done. Top screws. Okay. That will allow me to then take off the top plate and hopefully carefully I might be able to leave that just to one side, tuck it under a propeller, perhaps. Now, what am I going to do next? Let's have a look, because I've not followed no instructions for this. So, let's see if we can get this little cable out of here for the motors. I'm not the gentlest person in the world, as I'm sure I've said, but that's out. I can go there. And I'm going to leave that on. I don't see any point taking them out. I don't think I need to take them out. I undid them, just slightly loosen them and leave them on. Right, what's next? So under here there's some little screws. And I'm guessing that's holding that bottom. Little wiggles. Do not want to break any connectors or anything, so I'll be nice and gentle as much as I can to undo these things. Bit at a time. Christ, that's tight. It'll be tight to get back in. So these screws, 4 screws, are going to come off this. I think the top one is the VTX, so so 4 screws. I don't know if it's attached to anything. I've got absolutely no idea. VTX is off very gently. I can go there, and I'll hold this up to the camera so I can see the routing of these wires. So they go sort of, the bigger connector goes under there, up through the triangle nearest the camera to there, and the other one comes straight off the connector, straight into the camera there, so that could come off, but I'll leave it on. And this one attached, obviously squiggles around all over the blooming place, so there's a good chance that we'll have to take that out, so I may as well. So nice and steady again, wiggle wiggle. Yeah, we're off very gently to there. That can go there. Right. Okay, now that nut is actually loose. So let's get this turned over. And what we've got here, can you see, is we've got, as in the diagram coming up, looks like 2 nuts. So we've got coming through the screw at the bottom, through the frame, and then what looks to be 2 nuts then the board. I'm sure we'll figure it out. So I've got one there. And the second one. One on the back. And a second one off the back. Are these the same size or different height? No, they're slightly different heights, so it looks like the smaller one goes on first. Okay, so the smaller nut goes on at the bottom first, because they don't look to be the same height, unless they're just very poorly made, but they don't look to be. And let's get this off here again. There's one. Another one. God, these are fiddly. This is how I broke the damn thing in the first place, because my fingers and hands are not, let's face it, I wouldn't be a surgeon. So okay, so there's the 4 nuts, and the top plate may just come off now. It is moving. I'm just being quite cautious because I'm so used to breaking stuff. So there, we're off. Now the top plate, as you can see, as it's come off, it's got like the leg stands at the bottom on the outer corners, and then the 4, you see those, the 4 top ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, they go on the top, and they come off that way, front of the camera. It goes on that way, so it's like that. So what I'm going to do is put that with all 4 of those. 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah, so there's 8 in total. And all of those into that little square just there. With that around it, like so. And that's going to get some of the same sellotape treatment as the last one. Okay, now you might think this is a bit of overkill, but you know, that's fine. I don't plan on losing these things. I don't want to anyway. There, so that's that. So we've got top nuts. So top nuts and plate, got that. So where are we now? We've got these wires. Now as you can see, they're very, oh Christ. That's the camera, so that can stay out of the way. It's there, get that out of the way. I actually thought of replacing the camera for something a little bit better, but you know. Well, that pretty much seems to be about it, apart from obviously the wires for the motors. So clearly we've got as you look at it, we've got the face here of the camera looking at you, and then this board goes in this way around with the USB here to the back on the right, and the power leads on the right. So that's as you're looking at the camera. If you were to turn the camera looking left, then obviously the power lead and that USB would be towards you. It's just so you can see how these things are going to go back together. And for me, because unless I did this, I would most definitely put them back together, quite possibly the wrong way. So this looks like it's just sat on rubber stanchions. Now I was hoping to get away with taking these, or not taking these legs off, but I don't think I'm going to be that lucky. Because I can't get that pin out, that connector out, unless I take this off. And that cable comes around the back of that leg. So I've got to be very careful here. What I'm going to do is take the leg off. I don't want to lose any of these screws. Take out the connector. Come out, you little sod. Yeah, there you go. So again, looking at that connector, the red dot is on the top. It should only go in one way anyway. So the red dot is on the top. And there is no way I'm going to get any of these out with those legs staying in. So that can go in there like that. One. Two. There's one thing about doing this, as I read on the internet, once you've got a quad and it's not like a DJI camera one, it's one of these type, that you're going to have to actually learn how the things are built. And I thought, nah, I'll buy one. I'll buy one made up, because I know what I'm like. I couldn't build one, or if I did, I'd break stuff. So, and as it turns out, people say, well, yeah, well, once you've got one, then that's when you learn to put them together. Okay, so I took the last one off, haven't I? Because all the others are off. So that's 4. There you go, 4 of them. Well, now we're getting down to the bare bones, aren't we? Okay, so let's take off. Now it's interesting, look, because as you look at it now, to remind us again, the one with the red goes to the rear left propeller. Okay, so it's red here. Looking at the front, here's the camera. Rear left prop goes to the one in red. This front left prop goes to that one there, which is nearest the back. So it's quite easy, as you can imagine, to get these put on the wrong way around, especially if you're an idiot like me. So come on, little plug. There, you're out. No red dot on that one. So that's that. And where's my little screwdriver? There it is. For this front one here. Oh, there you go. Is that coming off? Oh, it's come off, so let's take that off. I can go over there then. And then this little connector here will take this one off as well. Oh, and that's got a red one on it as well. So clearly this is the way that these spins, it'll be clockwise, anti-clockwise, won't it? So you clearly know what goes what. Right, so let's have the cameras if it's facing to the left again. Move these wires. It should all be now disconnected. What we've got here is my antenna wire there attached. Now I'm going to see if these just pop off. Arthritis in my hand doesn't help. So here we go. So that pops off, and you've got that little rubber grommets on the board. We'll leave them in there. Okay, so now it's going to be difficult when it comes back. Remember, the quad's pointing to the left, so the power here is towards you. And interestingly, that's on the top as well, so you can't put it on upside down. Turning over to our little aerial antenna. Naturally, it's chuffing glued. Of course it is. So I might just leave that connected. Don't want to start messing around with them. I'm gluing those. But what I will need to do is cut off the two cable ties that I very tightly put on only yesterday. This is the price of being an idiot. I'm quite lucky because I use possibly the bluntest pair of wire cutters in the world. God, I can help arthritis in my hands. Right. And I would say we are disconnected. There we go. So what we've got left here then is a pile of bits and that. And that really is it. Will these come off? Probably. I can always put some new ones on that. I don't get snagged. Yeah, that's off as well. So there we are. There is the flight controller for the Novice 3, all stripped down. First time I've ever done it, and it wasn't too difficult, was it? That's took 23 minutes, and that's as I talk my way through it, telling myself that I'm doing a grand job. And that's it. Now, when a new one of these comes, if I ordered one, all your wires, they're not with it. You just get the board. So, chuffing power, look at that. Shocking job. Right, that's it. Let's see what I can do with this. So there we go. That is the crux of what I've done. I've taken it to bits, and I'm going to carefully put everything onto here and keep them all safe. Tape them down, and they're not going anywhere. They're on the instructions, so they're not going anywhere. And we've got instructions of how to put it all back together, haven't we? So I shall tidy that up. There's my VTX. Oh, got them little screws in there. So what I mean about being clumsy, nearly tipped the blooming thing straight over. So that can go on there, and put some sellotape over that very carefully. Put a piece of paper over there, I think, very carefully, and tape that down. And the camera, and that's it. So I hope that helps. Okay, I hope that helps you take the thing to bits. Yes, it is a bit daunting, certainly when you've never done one before, as I haven't. And that is why I've done this video, because you may be able to take a look at it, understand what you've done yourself, and then put it back together in reverse. And it ain't that difficult. If you've got all the bits that I would struggle with, which is how I destroyed this, is actually the soldering of this, because I would break something. Without a doubt, I'd break something. Need somebody better, far better eyesight and hands than mine. Right, that's it. All done. Let's get this tidied up, and I hope that's helped. Cheers.